If they think it's Sunday, then it's Sunday. Like, you just got to play the role of what they want you to do.
What is Alzheimer's disease? Alzheimer's is a slow, fatal disease of the brain affecting 1 in 10 people over the age of 65. No one is immune. The disease comes on gradually as 2 abnormal protein fragments called plaques and tangles accumulate in the brain and kill brain cells. They start here in the hippocampus, the part of the brain where memories are first formed. Over many years' time, the plaques and tangles slowly destroy the hippocampus, and it becomes harder and harder to form new memories. Simple recollections from a few hours or days ago that the rest of us might take for granted are just not there. After that, more plaques and tangles spread into different regions of the brain, killing cells and compromising function wherever they go. This spreading around is what causes the different stages of Alzheimer's. From the hippocampus, the disease spreads here to the region of the brain where language is processed. When that happens, it gets tougher and tougher to find the right word. Next, the disease creeps toward the front of the brain, where logical thought takes place. Very gradually, a person begins to lose the ability to solve problems, grasp concepts, and make plans. Next, the plaques and tangles invade the part of the brain where emotions are regulated. When this happens, the patient gradually loses control over moods and feelings. After that, the disease moves to where the brain makes sense of things it sees, hears, and smells. In this stage, Alzheimer's wreaks havoc on a person's senses and can spark hallucinations. Eventually, the plaques and tangles erase a person's oldest and most precious memories, which are stored here in the back of the brain. Near the end, the disease compromises a person's balance and coordination, and in the very last stage, it destroys the part of the brain that regulates breathing and the heart.
My name is Brenda Lamour, and I'm here to talk about my mom, Anita McKellick, who has had Alzheimer's. She has since passed away. Growing up, she was a very strict mom, a very caring mom, and she was sharp as a tack. I mean, she could handle anything. She was right on top of everything. She knew everything that we were gonna do before we did it. And she loved to do crafts, certain ones, especially Christmas crafts. And she actually had a very hard life. Growing up, there were 6 kids, so things were a little rough, but we always had a roof over our heads, food on the table, and the love of 2 loving parents, which is all you need. And I'm going to get emotional. We were down in North Carolina at my nephew's high school graduation party, and I had asked her a couple times, like, what time she thought they'd be back from the graduation, just so I'd have an idea. And she had told me a time, and I asked her a few times. And when my other brother and his wife were there, they were staying at a hotel. And because she had told me it was going to be later, like 9:30, 10 o'clock, that they wouldn't be back until, they decided to go back to the hotel and, come back in the morning. Well, when they got back to the house shortly after my brother and his wife left, and she was like, well, why did they leave? And I says, well, you told me that you weren't going to be back till about 10 o'clock. And she just raved up and down that she never told me that, and it was like the very, very start of it, maybe. As it progressed, um, it was a matter of hygiene. Um, there's something from what I hear from everybody, there's something about the shower that frightens them. They do not want to shower. And it took all we could do to just even start giving her a sponge baths daily. She would wear the same clothes over and over and over again, not know that she hadn't changed. She'd put the same thing on day after day, and she would. The thing is that her memory was going, but at the same time, I mean, she knew it and was trying to fight it. So, I mean, she would do this thing, like she would say something, would be like, no, it's, something else. And she would be like, she would always go, I'm right about this one, you know. But, yeah, I mean, it was, and the thing is that, I mean, she did start getting a little mean. Um, she would get, we had to put her in a nursing home eventually because nobody could handle her. She was starting to get violent, and before she hurt herself or hurt somebody else, we had to do something. But there were times where, I mean, she would get us upset, and not meaning to, but it's like, please just do this, like take your medicine or take your, wash up, and just do it, and then like later on, like say I can just still remember it, standing in the kitchen, like maybe doing their meals or something, and she'd come in and she'd say, she'd be so pitiful, I'm so sorry. She says, I don't know why I do things like that. She says, I can't help it, and it would be just so sad, to see her like that, because she was always such a strong woman, and to see the change. It was hard. Yep.
This disease has inspired many researchers to look for a cure, but currently they're focused on slowing its progression. One temporary treatment helps reduce the breakdown of acetylcholine, an important chemical messenger in the brain, which is decreased in Alzheimer's patients due to the death of the nerve cells that make it. Another possible solution is a vaccine that trains the body's immune system to attack beta-amyloid plaques before they can form clumps. But we still need to find an actual cure. Alzheimer's disease was discovered more than a century ago, and yet still it is not well understood. Perhaps one day we'll grasp the exact mechanisms at work behind this threat, and a solution will be unearthed.
Progressive disease. It continues to get worse with time, and there are medications that can slow the process down, but there's nothing that can completely stop it. Most people get it when they're older. Sometimes you can get it younger. They don't want you to do something, you don't do it, and then you wait a little while, you reapproach and see if the situation is different. Sometimes they'll let you after, and sometimes they won't. A lot of them are afraid of water. They don't want to take a shower.
Yes, I do. I miss, even before she passed, I miss my old, the old mother that I had, the real mother that I had. Because the one that was living wasn't my mother. It wasn't her.